Hi, this is Leslie M. Thornton with Transformational Story number 2. My first speeding ticket. After I graduated from nursing school, my friend Lena and I decided to take a cross-country trip via car because Lena had a new job, or she was going to look for jobs in San Diego where her brother lived. And I decided to go along for the trip. And so my first speeding ticket, we had driven all the way from New York, and by this point we're in Wyoming. And the speed limit was 70, or it was 75 actually. And I was going about 90. And I see this car coming towards me on the other side. And then I see that it's a cop, and I pretty much immediately knew, like, forget about it, I'm getting pulled over. Sure enough, he does a U-turn in the road. I immediately pull over, and this officer, once he gets up to the car, he says, "You mind telling me why you're going so fast, young lady?" And I said, "To be perfectly honest, sir," I said, "I am terrified of this open country, and I'm trying to get to my campsite before dark." And he said, "You mean to tell me that you're from the most dangerous state in our good old country of the USA, and you're afraid of little old Wyoming?" And I said, "Absolutely, sir, I am. The nothingness here and I just got to get to my campsite, it terrifies me." He said, "I'll tell you what you should really be afraid of. What you should really be afraid of is a deer hitting your windshield at 90 miles an hour. And I said, "Touche, sir. I didn't even think about that. That would probably be terrible." And then he said, it's waves. And then he said, "You should, if you're gonna, let me tell you something, girls." He said, "There's one thing that you should know. It's 10 miles down the road, you're about to hit Indian territory, and you're not going to want to get a flat tire or stop for gas there." And we're like, "No," and he was like, "Very dangerous. You might not come out alive." I don't know if he said that specifically, but that's what he was alluding to. So I said, "Thank you." And I thought after all of that he might let me off the hook, right? But that was not the case, and he gave me a ticket. My lesson from that story was that, well, here's what how I choose to look at that is that officer saved my life. Because perhaps we would have stopped for gas, or we would have, stopped in general in this place that would have been super dangerous had I not been going 90 miles per hour, had I not gotten pulled over. And so in life, sometimes bad things, annoying, unfortunate circumstances might occur, and we have a choice. We can look at it and say, "I had to pay this money, and if only that didn't happen, and blah, 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 blah." Or we could say, that officer just saved my life, so technically it cost me whatever that speeding ticket cost, don't even remember, $90 to save my life. And maybe that's worth it. So that's Transformational Story number 2 with Leslie M. Thornton.